Another very useful tool in the motion control workspace is a thing we call targets. And the target button is located right here. And we also have a turn targets on and off visually. That's this button. We also have another button that has to do with what we call target playback. Now a target is a way to put a mark down on any axis to show its position. And you can use these targets to map out even a course of movement. Another cool thing you can do with targets is every time you make a target, it takes a picture of what's on the screen. And you can actually play back the target as almost like motion control storyboards. So I'll show you how that works. The first thing I'm going to do is say that this is our first position, this shot of our tank tractor thing here. And I'm going to make a key, like a key all, and also put a target down. You can see that there's targets underneath here, but all of our axes are kind of stacked on top of each other right now because we don't have any secondary positions. Okay, let's go ahead and drive forward. Okay, and maybe we will end up coming down just a little bit like this. And let's check the focus here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on focus. Click into this, and we will set our focus like that. And let's set this at 3 seconds in. This will be where this key is, but instead of setting a keyframe, I'm going to go ahead and hit the target button. Now let's go to a final position. I'm going to push forward here a little more. We'll swing to the left a little bit. Pan over. Let's go down a little bit as well. Tilt up. Okay, so that'll be our final position. I need to check focus again. Okay, so that will be our last position at 6 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and put a key there. Let's look at all these keys. Okay, so now you can see that we have all of these keyframes from beginning to end, and we have these marked positions out in the middle that our arcs are not crossing through. But if we want our move to look like what we just planned out, we're going to need them to cross through. Now, normally we would set these as keys, but we're going to see if we can do it without setting a secondary key. Because we have all these beginnings of the move and ends of this move that go into from zero velocity and into zero velocity, let's go ahead and select them all and put feathers on them. That'll save us a little bit of time. Okay, and we're going to go one axis at a time. So let's go with track. We'll solo it. And here's where we're going to do this little trick. We want the position of track at this frame to cross at that point. Well, here's what we can do. We can drag this Bezier handle over until it crosses. And now we've hit this position here without having to put another keyframe. Let's try that on east-west as well. Now, east-west didn't really move until we got out here, so we can just pick this key and just move it up over there. In fact, that's going to be a lot of these. Oh, now this one does have a little bit of movement, so we will take this Bezier and bring it out, and this one and pull it in. Let's see if we can really get this to cross. There we go. So now we've got this point crossing through here. We know we're going to hit that position we had charted out without setting another key. And that's going to make our velocity nice and smooth. Let's go with pan here. Pan again we don't really start the pan until later, so I'll bring that forward. Tilt as well doesn't start, so drag that one forward. We didn't do anything on roll. Now focus, we might have to kind of tweak a little bit here to hit that center mark. Okay, like that. Okay, now one thing that I mentioned before was this idea of using the targets as like a little storyboard. So I'm going to bring the playhead back to 1. I'm going to turn on this targets viewer on over here, and if I hit the space bar, this is just going to play pictures that were taken every time we hit make target. Although, let's see. I guess we didn't make a target in the last position. Well, it would have played all 3. I think I only put a key at the last one. I didn't put a target, so we're missing that one. But you can imagine that if you had something more complicated, every time you'd hit a target, so now I only have 1, 2, I don't have 3, it plays it back like a little storyboard. Okay, let's go back to our live view. Let's go ahead and drive back to 1 and shoot this. Okay, let's do some playback on this. Okay. Another cool trick with the targets is that you can drive to a target position just like you drive to playhead. And the way you do that is you turn on the target like that, and if the playhead's on it, you'll see that all the go to playhead buttons are now go to target. So that could be useful if you're trying to set a new keyframe, or if you just want to get back to a certain position and you don't have keys set on those frames, but you have targets, you could use that. So as you're sculpting your move, you can drive around, maybe make little visual adjustments to your composition, put a target down, and then use that target as a way to sculpt the position graph through it. Now, you can always lay down keys as well, but if you feel like the keys are tying you up in knots, go ahead and give targets a try.